And joining us now is Tom Nichols, contributing writer at The Atlantic and the author of Our Own Worst Enemy, and he joins us from Middletown, Rhode Island. Tom, I know you've been keeping a close eye on what's happening on Capitol Hill. What do you hope will come out of the investigation into January 6th?
I want what I think most Americans want, which is accountability. I think we know what happened, but I don't think we know everything about who was involved, particularly involving members of Congress and the former president. And I actually would hope that these hearings would be televised in prime time and that we would finally air this out. I worry that too many of my fellow citizens here in the United States aren't taking this seriously enough. I think some of us want to just move past it, but I think there has to be accountability. There has to be a price paid, and not just for the people who showed up that day who are doing various lengths of jail sentences. It has to be for the people who organized and inspired and arranged this. Your
Twitter bio describes you as a democracy enthusiast, but describe to us now the state of democracy in the United States.
I began my career studying the old Soviet Union, and I never thought that I would have to be part of a pro-democracy movement in the United States. But I think that is where we are. One of our major parties has become an authoritarian movement. And so I think the state of democracy in the United States is that it's still healthy. God bless federalism, where the 50 states are holding their own in terms of functioning democracies. But I don't know how long that can last if the federal government and an entire political party totally abandons the notion of liberal representative democracy. So I think we're okay for now, but the next year is going to tell the tale.
So the Republicans supporting an authoritarian state, for someone who's listening casually to this conversation and wondering, this guy from the U.S., is he prone to hyperbole? Is that an exaggeration?
I have often been accused by some of my readers for being too sanguine. I should also say that I'm a former Republican. I was a Republican for 30-something years, but I think, like a lot of former Republicans and like a lot of Americans in general, I see a real problem here. I see a collapse of public and civic commitment to the norms and processes of liberal democracy. I particularly see a party, my former party, that says if we lose elections, they are by definition unfair. And when enough people believe that they have a right to win elections, whether they won them or not, you're on the road to authoritarianism. And yes, it can happen here.
We have about a minute left. Let's talk about the other party now, the Democrats, and about voting rights, bringing in new people or new to the voting process to actually cast a ballot. Are the Democrats doing enough?
One of my great fears about the current state of American democracy is that the only party that can form a coalition of people from the left to the right and hold back this movement, this authoritarian movement, is the Democratic Party. And I'm just not sure they're up for the fight. I'm not sure they have the stomach for it. I'm particularly concerned about the fact that so many Democrats, even now, don't show up to vote. And, you know, as a former Republican, I can tell you one of the secret weapons Republicans have always had is that they always show up to vote. I think if Democrats, and particularly young people, show up to vote, we'll be talking about this a year from now as something in the past. But again, this coming year is going to tell the tale. And I hope the Democrats really have the strength for what's coming.
So much to think about. I hope we get a chance to talk about this again. Thank you.
Thank you.